Mom wants me to sign over $250K beneficiary check. I am not the OOP. OOP is glitter plant. Mom wants me to sign over $250K beneficiary check. Originally posted to our entitled parents. Original post February 1st, 2023. My dad passed away recently and it came to light that he named me as one of the beneficiaries on his life insurance policy. My mom says that it was a mistake and that I am not supposed to be a beneficiary. Just my mom. She wants me to file for the money and sign the check over to her. I'm going to go through with it. Because she is my mom and blah blah whatever. But the insulting part is that my mom says I can keep $5,000 from it to throw my wedding. I only have $2,000 from my own money cause my partner and I are kinda broke. Is she being entitled? Or am I? Or both of us lol. Edit. The reason why I think it is a mistake is because my younger sister is not listed as a beneficiary. Some updates. First of all, thank you for the advice. This has really given me different perspective on this money. I still have a lot to think about. At this point I'm thinking about investing the money in my name and then sending my mom and sister a portion the yearly dividends that I do not reinvest. Hopefully this will keep everyone happy. To answer a few questions. My mom, brother, and I are all receiving a third of the payout. I think the policy was drafted before my sister was born, which is why she is not a beneficiary. My mom is also receiving his social security, the house, and savings, etc. I did not realize that I was going to receive any sort of inheritance in the first place. My mom is a good person and a good mom and we have a good relationship. I am worried this money will ruin that. Update February 23, 2023. Oh boy. Well, some updates are due. First of all, thank you all for your concern and comments in my first post. It was helpful to hear your perspective on the money and it definitely changed my view on the whole situation. To recap quickly, my dad passed away and he named me as a beneficiary on his life insurance policy. My mom says that it was a mistake and that I am not supposed to be a beneficiary. Just my mom. She wants me and my brother to file for the money and sign the check over to her. On the policy my mom is named at 34%. Brother and I are named at 33%. And youngest sister is not named. It turns out that the policy was not made before my sister was born, which adds to the murkiness and confusion surrounding why my sister is not included. My guess is that my dad signed up for this policy and forgot my sister's social, thinking he would just come back to it later and revise, but never got around to it. He was bipolar and did things impulsively sometimes. I think this life insurance policy was one of them. Suggesting we slow down and talk about this policy more has made the bad guy in the family. My mom and brother think I am being selfish. It has gotten so tense that we have to discuss things via email because everyone is getting so emotional about it. My mom continues to insist that he made a mistake. She writes, "When Dad took out this policy, his intention was for me, my mom, to have money to pay off the house, which is already paid off BTW, and have financial means to take care of the family. Dad would never ever intentionally exclude little sis from this scenario if his intentions were to split things between the family. I believe he completed the paperwork incorrectly because he didn't understand how to write the policy to support his intentions. I responded with a proposal. The three of us split the cost of my dad's medical bills for the past 2 years of his illness, hospice care costs and the funeral. After that is settled, my brother and I split our portions into 3 so that my sister gets a share. She does not like this proposal and passive-aggressively told me to not bother paying her back for the medical, funeral costs. I also get the sense that she is trying to guilt-trip me because she keeps saying she can't afford to screen in her porch. Sigh. I am sure there will be more updates. This feels long from over. Update. Thank you all for your thoughts and comments, but feel like I have to address that my sister is 10,000% my full sister. My dad adored her. Also, we're the type of siblings that look like twins, not that it matters. I am not the oop. Top comment on the most recent post gives a pretty good explanation as to why OOP's dad may not have been able to go back and amend the policy to include their youngest sibling. Since your father was a diagnosed bipolar, it would be wise to surmise that the policy was issued pre-diagnosis, since that particular DX greatly impacts premium determination and in some cases, whether or not a person can be insured. If that was the case, your father probably held onto the policy in its unaltered state because his diagnosis could possibly mean that he could not be reinsured. Mom got $255K, and the two kids $247.5K. Probably plenty to get a new screen and live off. She's totally scamming her kids. If anything, she should have said, "We need to split this so everyone gets 187.5K minus costs in a trust if needed." I was devastated when my dad passed. I was a daddy's girl, and I still mourn him now. 12 years later, he was my rock. That first several years after he was gone was a bad time. My mother told me I was a beneficiary on a life insurance policy. $10,000. Not huge, but a potentially life-changing amount of money for me at the time. In the same breath, she told me it was my dad's intention to change the beneficiary to her, but he died before it could happen. I had no reason to question it, and she requested the same thing to me, keep a paltry amount and hand over the rest. I did. Without going into too much detail, my dad left my mother well off enough to retire several years early and live a comfortable life. I was proud of how well he took care of her. I later found out that the policy was originally my grandma's and she had left it to my dad with the instruction to leave it to me for my daughter's education. To say I was angry would be wrong. It was hurt. Pure and simple. My mother has always been greedy. Nothing has ever been enough. And that she essentially stole from my daughter's future has never left my heart. Death and money don't mix. I have a will, but if I get a lead time on my death, I will be handing it out before I go so no one gets taken advantage of. I would rather have my daddy than money. Any day of the week and twice on Sundays. And my mother took advantage of me. I won't let that happen to my kids. The life insurance isn't considered part of his estate, right? It is money owed to the beneficiaries and is separate from the estate. If I'm getting that right, it means that his estate should go towards paying off his medical bill, and the mom gets whatever is left there. I hope they don't just flat out pay the medical bills with the life insurance. They need to at least talk to the hospital and get them reduced as much as possible. Then use his estate to pay the bills. I don't think the creditors can come after his life insurance payouts, but they may have to reach into them to avoid selling the house. I'm sure it's more complicated than this. Money always brings out the worst in people. I really hope this will work out for OOP, but I don't see it happening without some sort of third-party arbiter. How much could a screen door possibly cost? More than $250K plus everything else. Mom inherited thinking face. Mom just wants it all. Oof. If mom has 34%, and 33% is $250K, she can definitely afford to screen in her porch. This is guilt tripping. And whether she believes your dad meant to set it up the way he did or not, that's what was put down. Look after your little sister. But look after yourself too. Anyone who gets over $250K but would still take that same amount off their kids is shocking. On the policy, my mom is named at 34%, brother and I are named at 33%, and youngest sister is not named. When my dad died, my brother was named on his policy and I was not, even though I was older. My mom explained. We just didn't do it for girls back then. Top comment on the most recent post gives a pretty good explanation as to why OOP's dad may not have been able to go back and amend the policy to include their youngest sibling. Since your father was a diagnosed bipolar, it would be wise to surmise that the policy was issued pre-diagnosis, since that particular DX greatly impacts premium determination and in some cases, whether or not a person can be insured. If that was the case, your father probably held onto the policy in its unaltered state because his diagnosis could possibly mean that he could not be reinsured. Almost saw a fistfight between two brothers at my old job at a bank because both were trying to claim dad's account after he died. One brother stuck with mom. The other stuck with dad's new wife, who also was his affair partner that he left his first wife for. They were airing out all the dirty laundry in the bank and the police had to be called. Good people turn nasty about money. It's happened in my family. You absolutely don't know someone until there's money on the table. Why do PPL always include, "Oh, this person treats me so well and always so nice"? Yay, obviously no, an op is just being delusional about obligation to family. She's coming up with reasonable solutions. Nope, mom wants it all. I think dad knew exactly what he was doing to ensure that the kids got something because he knew his wife would behave this way. If you sign for money on a policy like that and then give it to someone else, aren't you still liable for the taxes? This is going to be a long journey. Your mom got her share, and now she wants to take yours and your brother's? Do not let her do that. Regardless of what she says, he intended that money for you and your brother, or he wouldn't have included y'all as beneficiaries. Well, while it's not a nice story, he has the money. Mom should play nice, else it's no maple syrup on pancakes for her. The mom is being greedy. They say never mix business with family. And while this isn't the same thing, it shows that money makes people go crazy and will step on family to get it. When I did my life insurance, I did not need to provide SSNS for the beneficiaries. The fact he left off little sis makes me wonder if she is not his and now mom is trying to get all the money to avoid the kids realizing it. If mom is sole beneficiary, they'd shrug it off. But if only 2 of 3 get something, the third is going to question why. Sorry. Been on Reddit too long, so I go worst case scenario cold sweat smile.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.